Hey, what's up, Bills Mafia? Welcome to episode 11 of Bills of BK. Now, I know last week was not as easy of a win as I thought it was going to be. We all thought we were going to steamroll over the Chargers, as I said last week, and it ended up being a lot closer game than we anticipated. At the end of the day, we still got the dub. That's all that matters. Shakir had a really good game. He was more involved than usual, made some big catches for us. He almost had a TD in the fourth quarter, but he ended up being ruled down, which ended up actually being kind of a blessing in disguise for us because it did end up taking more time off the clock and only leaving them with 20 seconds after the final field goal. Since we didn't get that score, had we have gotten that touchdown, they would have been left with like 2 minutes left to drive down the field. So that kind of was a blessing in disguise. But Gabe Davis had a great game, which was encouraging because he hadn't gotten a single catch the two games leading up to this one. So it's good to see him more involved in this game. He ended up being our most productive receiver on the day. Like this sideline catch right here where he caught it in a tight spot and kept his feet in. He was making good catches all day. He had over 100 yards overall in the day. One thing that does seem like a consistent theme with us is that we don't seem to have any consistent every week receivers that put up numbers. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it started off that Gabriel Davis was our boomer bust receiver. That wasn't somebody that you can rely on every week giving consistent production. But now it kind of seems like all of our receivers are like that, including Stephon Diggs, who's been in a little bit of a slump these last few weeks. He hasn't been producing as much as usual. But honestly, I saw somewhere where somebody was saying Diggs has lost a step. He's not as good. He's starting to show his age. That's why he's had a drop off in his production. But I'll be honest, I don't agree with this. I think that Diggs has been there when we need him to be. Like right here, when we had a crucial 3rd and 8 with 2.5 minutes to go, where Allen hit Diggs and he got us the first down, which was a huge moment in a spot that we really needed it. It's also, I just think in general, it's nice not to have to lean on Diggs as much as we have in the past. I personally think that it's better for us to not have to lean on Diggs so much on a consistent basis. But let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about the matter. The game did start off rocky for us. It just seemed like we were a little out of sync. Josh Allen felt a little out of sync in the beginning. And then we had some costly mistakes. Deontay Hardy had a kick return that he fumbled, and it resulted in a Chargers TD, giving them a 10-0 lead early in the game. But we responded strong with a Gabe Davis touchdown on that very next drive. And then from then on, we didn't allow them to score another touchdown the rest of the game. They just went on to score 4 field goals after that. So, started off a little rocky with a 10-0 deficit. But then I felt like once we had that big Gabe Davis touchdown, I felt like that was a momentum change. And then I felt like for the rest of the game, we did play very solid. We just started off a little slower, which we tend to do sometimes. We sometimes start off slow and then we play catch up. A lot of times when we do that, we end up losing games. So this time we ended up pulling out the win. So I thought that was an improvement because a lot of times when we start off kind of out of sync and, playing catch up early on, it's kind of a too little, too late situation normally with us. But this time we did end up coming out with the dub in the end. But then the very next touchdown was Josh Allen, where he scored his 13th rushing TD on the season. This was actually my own personal footage at the game. I was sitting in the 200s in the end zone, so I got some good footage while I was there. The next touchdown that Josh Allen rushed in actually put him in the record books to being the only quarterback in the history of the NFL that has had 4 consecutive 40 touchdown plus seasons. Speaking of records, James Cook also broke 1,000 yards in that Chargers game, which is the first 1,000-yard season a running back has had for the Bills since LaShawn McCoy, which certainly cements him as our best running back that we've had since Shady, like I was saying last week. I felt like our defense played great all game, had a lot of big plays. Cam Lewis had a sack. Rasul Douglas had a sack. Poona Ford had his first sack of the year. Ed Oliver had a big sack. Right here, he just levels him with his shoulder. And finally, Terrell Bernard with sack number 5, which brought us to 50 total sacks on the year, which puts us 3rd in the league behind only Miami with 52 sacks and the Ravens with 54 sacks. So to be 3rd overall in sacks in the entire league, that's pretty good. Shows our defense is still playing at a very high level, even with all these injuries. But my overall thoughts on this game, thing is, when you fire your head coach and then you fire your offensive coordinator, it gives your team a spark, It gives your team like a new rejuvenation kind of deal where all of a sudden the team has a new swagger and they come out hard. Easton Stick played a lot better than I thought he would. He was running for first downs. He was making tight throws. So not a bad backup at all. And then in general, they did play tough. I think they were tired of getting kicked around. They lost the Raiders huge the week before. So the organization was embarrassed. And being at that game and seeing them play, I realized that they were coming for that win. To be on the road and get that dub does mean something against a team that was fighting very hard. So in general, I feel like we got to just take it for a win, and obviously there are things we need to work on. We do seem to have this trend where we tend to play down to our opponent. And I don't know what that is, but every time we play a team that we think we're going to blow out, it ends up being a really close game because it just feels like we play down to our opponents and we always make it a close game. Makes it fun for football fans to watch because we always give them a good show. But in general, it would be nice to tighten things up, deliver on these games where we should be winning by, larger amounts and not keeping it so close. But at the end of the day, that's 3 wins in a row. We're 9-6. We got to come in and beat the Patriots at home this week. We shouldn't have any problem beating the Patriots, but we just need to not get cocky and we just need to come in there with our game plan and execute. And with any luck, Baltimore will beat the Dolphins, which I think they will. I don't see the Dolphins beating 2 teams in a row with winning records. I just don't see it. Plus, Ravens are playing for the number 1 overall seed, so I think they're going to come out and play hard. So with any luck, the Ravens will hopefully beat the Dolphins. We beat the Patriots, and then the last game's for the division. So 1 game at a time, but we just got to stay humble, stay hungry, find a way to win, like McDermott always says. But that's all I got for you guys this week. I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Go Bills.